بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أهلا وسهلا أخواتي حبيباتي. Welcome to our lesson today, mixing between Arabic and English. Our weekly lesson where we learn verses from Quran and authentic sayings of our Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. We're learning our religion, inshallah, from the two main sources. If you want to learn about Islam, then you have to go back to Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, the authentic sayings of our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And today is the last lesson for this academic year because we're going to have holiday, inshallah, and we will be back after the holiday, inshallah. So this is a reminder because we're going to have the holiday. The holiday is coming now and people are becoming stressed because of the holiday. People are planning, people are like, they feel like overwhelmed. And I hope that inshallah, this will give us a hint of how to focus, because this is a holiday from school, but not a holiday from ibadah. We still have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala properly. We still have to do the right things. We still have to watch the habits, the goals, the lifestyle that we have. We still have to do the right things. We have to stick to halal and keep away from haram. We have to keep always focusing that what we're doing is the right, and we keep away from the wrong things. We have to keep on doing the righteous things and keep away from evil things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, in Surah Al-Mulk, الذي خلق الموت والحياة, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created life and death. He created us to live on this earth for a while. We are going to be living here, but not forever, because there will be death coming. It is part of our life. It's not the end of this life. It is part of life. So we're living here for a purpose. There is a reason why we are alive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. So the purpose, the reason why we are here in this life, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test us. How does Allah test us? He's watching us. He wants to see the decisions that we make, the choices that we make every day. That's the test. The test is not just poverty and sickness and having difficulties. The test is the choices that we make every day. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us health, I am healthy, but I am tested. What am I gonna do when I am healthy? If Allah gives someone money, means it's a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing you. What are you going to do with this money? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you time, if you are blessed with time, what are you going to do with your time? What are the choices that you make? That's the test. We are under the test day and night, inside and outside. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us every day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see how we think, how we feel. He wants to see the words that we choose to say, and He wants to see the behavior and the actions that we do. That's the test. Everything that you do on daily basis, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at you. So the test is not just being sick or poor or having difficulties. No, you can have a good life, but you are also under the test. What are you going to do? What are the choices? What are the decisions? Unfortunately, some people think that I will be happy when I have a perfect life. They wait for the perfect life to come to be happy. They think that happiness is in having a perfect house, a perfect husband, perfect children who obey us without asking questions, without arguing, children who do not make any mistakes. Yeah, that's happiness. Yeah, and it's not going to happen like that. Children are children. They are going to make mistakes. They are going to ask questions. They are going to demand. They are going to be around you all the time. Life is like this. Nothing is perfect, but sometimes we just daydream. A lot of people daydream, and they just have this perfect fancy life in their imagination. And then when they come to reality, when they open their eyes and come to reality, they will find that it is absolutely different. Yes. So you have to always be realistic. Do not daydream by having very high expectations about yourself. You're not the Iron Woman. You are a human being. You will feel down sometimes. You will feel tired sometimes. You can't have it all. You're not going to be doing everything all together. It's okay, because we're not perfect. Don't have high expectations for yourself. Don't have high expectations about your husband, about your kids, people around you, life in general. High expectations will make you get disappointed. And then when you are disappointed, you will become stressed, overwhelmed, and you will be angry. And when you are angry, you will always find excuses to throw your tantrum on everybody around you. When it started with you, it started with the expectations you had. It started with the way you think. When you think wrongly, you will feel wrong. When you feel wrong, you will speak wrong, and you will act wrong, and you will behave wrong. So it always starts in the head, the way we think. We have to think right. We have to be realistic. We're not perfect. Life is not perfect. It's about the reaction. It's how do we react to the imperfect life. My kids will make mistakes. How do I react? That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. Your husband will make mistakes. How are you going to react? You are going to make mistakes. How are you going to react to your own mistakes? When you make mistakes, are you going to hate yourself? Are you going to beat yourself up? Are you going to feel guilty? Are you going to feel bad? You're going to be angry. That's what you have to be focusing on. How you think, your expectations. You have to be realistic. You have to be always expecting that nothing is perfect, me or my surroundings. But we have to do our best to keep always on the straight path by choosing halal and keeping away from haram. We have to choose goodness, keep away from evil. We have to choose the right things and keep away from the wrong things. This is what we have to keep trying. We will keep trying to do that because that's the test. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see how we think, how we feel, how we speak, how we behave. Allah wants to see the decisions that we make every day. And we have to always refresh our intention. We have to always focus on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, not what people want from us. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want from me? Allah wants me to be good. Allah wants me to be nice. So if you think wrong, you will start thinking wrong. If you think wrong, you will start feeling wrong. Sometimes you feel bored. Feeling bored doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, I am bored. Let me call my friend. And then you call your friend and you will be speaking for 1 whole hour. What do you speak for 1 whole hour? You will be either backbiting or gossiping, or maybe you will be just complaining. Is that what you want? So boredom is an emotion. You have to know that I am bored right now. So I'm not going to go call someone and make it worse. I'm not going to go and say the wrong things. Think before you call someone. Oh, I feel angry. Let me go and talk to my neighbor. If you are angry, say to yourself, I am angry right now, and I need to get rid of that anger. Don't go and make it worse. Don't put your anger on others. Don't give yourself excuses because I am angry. Then you start yelling, you start swearing, you start slandering people because you're angry. No excuses. Don't give yourself excuses to do the wrong things. So we are now going to focus on the holiday is coming. We're not gonna have high expectations. We know that our children are human beings. I'm ready. They will make mistakes. I will accept their mistakes. I will guide my children nicely. We will sit down. You're going to sit down bonding with your kids because it's not just about going out, doing activities, going places and taking them to places. No. Let's bond with our children. Sit down with your kids. Talk to them. Listen to them. Listen to them more than you speak. Maybe this is a good chance for you. 6 weeks, no school. You can sit down and listen to your children, allow them to express themselves to you, get to know them, what they love, what they don't love, what they want. All these things, ask them questions, allow them to open up to you without judging them, without lecturing them. Listen to them and bond with them. Learn to be patient. Lower your overwhelming and maybe like emotions. Try to relax, calm down, be patient. The best gift you can give your kids in this holiday is your patience, relaxing, laughing with them, smile, hug them a lot. Give them lots and lots and lots of kisses. The more you hug your kids and kiss them is not spoiling them. You are never spoiling your child by hugging them and kissing them. We spoil our children when we give them materialistic things and when we never say no to them. When they ask for things, when they demand, you simply, nicely, calmly say to them, sorry, I can't give you this. We can't go there. If they demand, you say, no, honey, not today. You have to learn to say to your children no in a nice way, without lecturing them, without blaming them, without saying any toxic words. So, emotions. Don't allow your own emotions to make you say the wrong things and do the wrong behaviors. You're going to sit down with yourself and figure out your emotions and your thoughts. You're not going to overthink. You're not going to have high expectations. And then you're going to be realistic. And if you feel bored, if you feel angry, you can go and sit down and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best way to be realistic, the best way to calm down and relax, believe me, it is by remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Ya ayyuhan nas, O you people, udhkurullah, remember Allah. Remembering Allah is the cure for your emotions. Remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the cure for everything. If you are bored, sit down and remember Allah. Are you angry? Sit down and remember Allah. Make wudu. It will be even better. If you are angry, then make wudu as the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam recommended and sit down and remember Allah. Are you feeling frustrated? Are you stressed? Sit down and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and set your priorities, because maybe your priorities are upside down. You're focusing on the wrong things. Your main focus is the wrong thing. So let's focus on the right things, because the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, after he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, udhkurullah, oh you people, everyone, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. جاءت الراجفة تتبعها الرادفة. So he's talking about the blowing of the trumpet. The trumpet is going to be blown the first time. The trumpet is going to be blown the second time. What does that mean? He said, جاء الموت بما فيه. Death is coming on the way. This is the reality. The reality is that whatever you're thinking about today, whatever you're focusing on today, is going to finish. You're thinking about the house. When you die, you're not going to take with you from this house anything. You're not going to even take the key of this house. You're thinking about your children. You're overwhelmed because you're always worried about your kids. You have to remind yourself that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible for their life. Allah makes them breathe. Allah makes them healthy. Allah makes them who they are. Allah guides. Allah is al-hafidh. Allah is the protector. You just have to guide them. You just have to tell them nicely, kindly. Let's say the dua before we leave the house, honey. Say the dua before you go to the bathroom. Let's say the dua before we go to bed. We just have to teach them how to make dua. There is dua for every situation, day and night. And tell them the importance of dua. You're not the reason why your children are alive. Allah makes them alive. Allah gives them this life. They breathe because Allah wants them to breathe, not because we are doing that for them. So overthinking, over-worrying, over-stressing, being always overwhelmed because you're worried is not going to help you in anything. It's not going to help your kids in anything. It's not going to help your husband. It will make it worse. You will become angry. You will become frustrated. You don't want to be frustrated. You don't want to be stressed. You need to relax. You need to calm down. So what are you going to do? You're going to be realistic. You're going to say, I'm not going to overthink. I'm going to make dua. I'm not going to be stressed. I need to relax. Remind yourself, I need to relax. Because one day you're going to stand up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask you about your reaction. Allah will ask you about your behavior. He will ask you about the words that you say. You know, people say hurtful words on daily basis, and they give themselves the excuse. They always give themselves excuses for saying what they say, for the behavior, for their reaction. They overreact, and then they say, she made me angry. He made me overreact. Wallahi, no one makes us overreact. No one forces us to say the words that we say. No one makes us to do what we do. It is all a choice. I have to take the responsibility of the choices, the decisions that I make every day. How am I going to have the ability? Where do I get the strength to control my tongue? How can I control my thinking, not to overthink? How can I control my emotions, not to be angry, not to hold grudges? How can I cleanse my heart? How can I do that? How can I not overreact? How can I relax? The answer is one word: death. We will die. That's the answer. This is the reality. When I die, I'm going to be judged. Today, I can give excuses. I can become defensive. I can defend myself. I can say, she made me angry. He made me do what I did. They, them, him, she. I can throw it on others. I can give myself excuses. But guess what? The reality is, when I stand up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I can't do that. I cannot say, Ya Rab, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, I am going to speak to him. I'm talking with you. I'm asking you about the words you said. I'm asking about your behavior, your anger issues, your tantrum, your mean language. It's your behavior. Why did you speak like this to your kids? Why were you yelling all the time? Why are you always serious and always very hard? Why are people around you walking on eggshells? Because you're always stressed, because you're always angry. What are you going to answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you going to blame people? Are you going to say he, her, them? Unfortunately, we cannot do this in the day of judgment. Every person will be judged in the day of judgment. If someone hurts me, if someone is mean to me, I say to myself, they are going to stand up in front of Allah. They have two angels writing what they're doing. Allah sees what's happening. Allah can hear what they said. I'm not gonna change because of what they are saying to me. I am not a mean person. I will not disrespect them. I will just walk away from them peacefully. I don't look in a mean way. I don't argue with anyone. I don't yell. I don't swear. I don't gossip. I don't backbite. Why? Knowing that I'm going to stand up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks me, what are the decisions? What are the choices that you made? I will say, I chose what you wanted me to choose, Ya Allah. I chose to be patient. I chose not to be angry and hold grudges. I chose not to revenge. I chose not to go around telling everyone what happened. I chose to control my tongue. I chose to release my anger, my frustration by sitting on my prayer mat. And I kept remembering you, Ya Allah. And I made dua. I recited the Quran. I focused on akhirah, not on them. These are the questions that you're going to be asked in the day of judgment. When we wake up in the grave, the two angels, Munkar and Nakir, they are going to ask us, who's your Lord? Who is my Lord? Allah is my Lord. Because of him, I did every decision in my life. You know, the decisions you make every day, the choices you make every day is based on who's your God. Some people, their God is their own desires. My desires, my heart, my brain say, I'm gonna revenge. I'm going to destroy them as they destroyed me. I'm going to tell everybody about them. I'm gonna expose them. That's desires. The desires will say to you, shaitan will say to you, expose them, tell everybody what they did, go and gossip. But you have to remember, man satara musliman, satarahu Allahu yawm al-qiyamah. I'm going to cover their mistakes, but I'm going to keep away from them. I'll give myself space away from the toxic people, but I'm not going to gossip. I'm not going to backbite them. I'm not going to tell everyone what they did to me because that's not right. Because I want to come in the day of judgment. I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cover my mistakes because no one is perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, little tiny mistakes here and there. And I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cover them for me. I want in the scale of hasanat and sayyi'at, the good deeds and the bad deeds, I want my good deeds to be heavier. So I'm going to focus. One of the good deeds in this dunya is to cover the mistakes of other people, not to expose them. I'm not going to go and tell everyone what my husband does. Oh, my husband did this. My husband is this. My husband. I'm not going to speak about his family to everybody. I'm not going to expose anyone to anybody. That's what you have to be talking to yourself. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. So we have to focus on fixing our own mistakes, because one day we're leaving. We are going to leave this dunya. So we don't have time to revenge. We don't have time to think about people's mistakes. We are going to spend our time here in this dunya, inshallah, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are going to prepare for akhirah. We want to go to Jannah. We want to go to the highest level of Jannah. We don't have time for that. If you want to make it maybe like to think about akhirah, sometimes we need to visit the graves. You can go and visit the graves and sit down and reflect. This is the future. The future is that hole, which is the grave. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man arada an yazura al-qubur," whoever wants to visit the graves, فَلْيَزُرْ, go and visit the graves. فَإِنَّهَا تُذَكِّرُ بِالْآخِرَةِ. The graves will remind us with akhirah. When you go and sit and watch the graves and how quiet it is, all these people lived this dunya. They wanted houses, they wanted cars, they wanted business, they wanted money, they wanted beauty, they wanted fame, they wanted everything. They wanted, subhanallah, and look at them. Where are they now? Under the ground. They are in another life now, which is totally different, and they're not going to take anything from this dunya. They only took with them the good deeds and the bad deeds. We take nothing when we leave. And we have to know that one day we are going to be there. That's our home. That's our future. That's our destiny. Subhanallah, like, we don't want to regret. Don't use your time in the wrong things. Don't think about the wrong things. Don't focus on the wrong things. We have to focus on doing hasanat. We don't have time. Don't waste your energy on people and materialistic things. We need to make lots and lots of hasanat every day. The Prophet ﷺ, every time he visited the graves, he would say, "Assalamu alaikum ahl al-diyari min al-mu'minina wal-muslimin." Assalamu alaikum. He greeted them. وَإِنَّا إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ بِكُمْ لَلَاحِقُونَ. One day we will follow you, inshallah. So you literally say to the graves, "Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, I'm following you. One day I'm going to be with you. As'alullah lana wa lakum al-afiyah." May Allah grant us al-afiyah. Al-afiyah is strength, physically, financially, socially, whatever. It is the strength. It's to be healthy, but not only physically, but you want to be healthy mentally. You want to be healthy emotionally. You want to be healthy and strong spiritually. You want to make your Eman, your faith, strong, where you're not going to be affected by dunya, by people. You have to be always focusing that this dunya is nothing. I'm leaving. I'm not going to waste my time thinking about dunya. I'm not going to waste my energy on pleasing people. It doesn't matter what people think about us. It doesn't matter what people say about us. It doesn't even matter what they want from us. What matters is what Allah wants from us. We have to focus on pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to be loved by Allah. We want to be famous in the skies. We want all the angels in the seven skies to know us, to make dua for us. We want to be with our Prophet ﷺ in the day of judgment. So why are you focusing on people then? You have to be focusing on you doing the right thing. So for those who are asking, like, a lot of questions come to me. So can women visit the graves? Yes. In the beginning, because women used to go to the graves, and it was part of the rituals that when they visit the graves, they will start yelling, and they shave their head. Women, when they lose a beloved person, they will shave their head, and they will rip their clothing, and they will be just shouting and screaming, and they will say things that they shouldn't be doing. But then the Prophet ﷺ ordered women not to go to the graves, to build their aqidah, to build their iman. And when their iman became strong, then he allowed them to go and visit the graves, but not on daily basis, or even like some people visit the graves every week or every Eid or every anniversary, or I don't know, like certain days, certain times. We don't do that. Whenever you are able, whenever you have time, you are free, you go every now and then. It doesn't have to be a specific day, a specific time. But when you are available, when you feel that you're feeling down and you need to refresh your iman, you can go to the graves and you can make dua. Search for Qibla. Where is Qibla? When you are in the graveyard, look at where is the Qibla. Search for Qibla. Raise up your hands towards Qibla, not towards the grave, towards Qibla. And make dua for the person you know who died, if you know someone, and for all Muslims who died in general. So we're going to make dua for them. Visiting the graveyard reminds us with akhirah. Visiting the graveyard softens the heart. If your heart is dry, if your heart is, because last week I was talking about when the heart is dry and hard, you start feeling lonely, you start feeling bored, you start feeling suffocating, you feel empty, you feel lost. When you have these emotions, you need to sit down and remember Allah, because everything that you're searching for to fill that void inside your heart is not outside. It's deep inside. You have to fix the inside. It's the emotions. So you have to remember that this dunya is nothing. We are going to leave. We have to prepare. I just have to be nice. I have to be kind. I choose to be patient. I choose to be strong emotionally and mentally. I'm not going to put my anger on others. My emotions are my emotions. I'm not going to put it on others. I'm not going to say any excuses. I'm not going to give myself any excuses. They made me say this. They made me do this. No one makes me say something. No one makes me do something. I don't overreact. I don't become defensive. I don't feel offended. We have to be good listeners. Listen to people around you. Open your heart to what they say. Disagree with them nicely. Don't say, no, I'm not like this. You are the... Don't attack anyone. Listen. Say nicely, that's your opinion. I will tell you my opinion, and that's it. We can disagree. We have to be patient. Your tone when you speak, be careful of the way you speak to others. Your tone is very important. So you have to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you. The angels are writing. It's all about you. You versus you. You focus on you changing you. We have to keep learning. We have to keep changing. We have to keep improving. It never stops. We never stop learning. We never stop changing, improving. This is how we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by changing who we are to become better people. And as I said, the holiday is now coming. And the holidays, there will be more activities. People will be visiting each other. You will have more visitors. You have to be careful now, because it is the holiday. Doesn't mean that we can do everything. It's holiday from schools, but not holiday from ibadah. We have to keep away from haram. Keep away from haram places. Do not go to haram places. Do not say, there is no choice. Oh, there is nothing, there is no alternative. No, there is always alternative. Always choose to leave places where there is haram. Man taraka shay'an lillah, whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah, awadahu Allahu khayran minhu, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said. Allah will give you an alternative. Allah will give you better than what you left. So we're not going to go to haram places. We're not going to eat haram food. We're not going to speak haram words. We're not going to do anything wrong, inshallah. During this holiday, we have to be careful. The words that we say, because you're going to be mixing with more people now. You're going to see visiting people, people visiting you. Be careful with the words that you say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَحْسَبُونَهُ هَيِّنًا. You think that some words and actions are minor. It's nothing. It's just a small lie. It's a small backbiting. Or we give it ourselves excuses, and by saying that it's even halal. Sometimes we say what I'm doing is halal, it's not haram, when maybe it is a major sin. وَتَحْسَبُونَهُ هَيِّنًا. You think it's minor, it's little, it's nothing. وَهُوَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ عَظِيمٌ. But to Allah, it's major. It's not what you think. It's not what you want. You have to ask, is this halal or haram? It's not the desires. You don't say what is halal, what is haram. You don't choose what is halal, what is haram. If you don't know, ask, is this word haram or halal? Haram, don't say it. Halal, then say it. Because inna rabbaka labil marsad, Allah is watching you. Allah can hear every word that you say. Allah knows your intention. Allah knows what you want. Because you are bored doesn't give you the excuse to backbite people, to gossip about people. Oh, did you hear this woman got divorced? Did you hear that lady can't have children? Did you hear this lady had a girl and she already have 3 girls? Why are we judging people? Why are we speaking about people? Why are we even talking about people? You have to remember that this is all gossip and this is all haram. We're not allowed to speak about other people. You say, oh, I'm not judging, I'm talking about the news. This is not news. You know deep inside you why you are saying that. You know, sometimes people say, I didn't mean it. But you have to understand, my beautiful sisters, that intention is only required with good deeds. When you pray, you have to purify your intention that I am praying for the sake of Allah to be rewarded. When you pay charity for the sake of Allah to be rewarded. But when it comes to haram, no intention. There is no intention. It's haram is haram. When you backbite, it's backbiting. You don't say, I didn't mean, but my intention, there's no intention. Haram is haram. Lying is haram. Oh, but I was joking. There is no joking. If the word you said hurt her, joking, no joking. Intention is not required here. You have to make sure that everything that you say is halal. The Prophet, first let's say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ittaqullah. O you who believe, ittaqullah, have taqwa. Have taqwa. What is taqwa? Taqwa is the awareness. The awareness that what I'm doing is halal. What I'm thinking about is halal. What I feel is I'm regulating my emotions every day, every day. I don't give myself excuses. I'm not going to hurt anybody with my words. Because I'm bored doesn't give me the right to call someone and speak 1 hour about other people. Because I am having a good mood now. Yalla, let's have fun and then make jokes about other people. Ittaqullah. Allah is watching you. The angels are writing. We have to make sure that we're not going to say anything wrong. وَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا. Say the right words. قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا is the righteous words, the right ones, halal words. So we're not going to say anything wrong and then give ourselves excuses. No excuses. The haram words are haram. Even if you say, but I was joking, it is haram. I didn't mean to hurt her. It did hurt her. It's haram. Be careful of every single word that you say. And the Prophet ﷺ said, لَيْسَ الْمُؤْمِنُ بِالطَّعَانِ. The believer is not ta'an. Ta'an is a person who slanders other people. So you're not going to speak about other people in a bad way. How? Some people, unfortunately, they body shame others. Her nose, her hair, her lips, her arms. Why are we talking about other people's bodies? And then, oh, I'm just joking. That's not joking, that's body shaming. That is haram. We're not allowed to make fun of how people look. We're not allowed to make fun of their houses, their children, their clothing, whatever they do. We're not allowed to put someone down. A ta'an is not a believer. A believer is not ta'an. A ta'an is a person who puts others down. A ta'an is a person who say poisonous words and they hurt people. They break their hearts. They mock them. They make fun of them. They call them names. That's a ta'an. A believer is not a ta'an. And when you tell them what you said was really mean, you hurt her, they don't get defensive. They say, oh, Allahu Akbar, astaghfirullah. And then they go and they say, I'm so sorry. What I said was wrong. You don't deserve that. What I said was wrong. We have to apologize. You made a mistake and someone reminded you, you say, I'm sorry. That was wrong. That was haram. I did not have the right to say that. Don't be defensive. Don't give yourself excuses. Go and apologize to the person. Yes, we are now causing this to the young generation. We make the young generation now hate themselves because of the way we speak to them. Adults, they judge the young ones, they lecture them, they put them down, they hurt them. That's why they all have low self-esteem. They have lack of confidence. They hate themselves. See why we have all these, the trends of beauty now? Everyone wants to be pretty. The boys want to be loved and accepted by everybody because of the words that we say. That's why all these ugly trends are becoming famous now. Everyone wants to be pretty and handsome and muscly, and everyone wants to look good because people are putting each other down. It's the words that we say to each other. It's poison. The mean looks. When someone looks at someone in a mean way, no one deserves to be looked like that. No one deserves to be treated like that. The Prophet ﷺ said, كل المسلم على المسلم حرام. It is prohibited for a Muslim to do these things for another Muslim. ماله, his money. Everyone is lying now. Everyone wants to eat everybody else alive. They think that they are clever when they take people for granted, when they use others and take something from them for free. You know, using others is not cleverness. You're not smart if you take something from others that's not yours. It is haram. Demanding. People are demanding to take from each other. That's haram. Ask once. If the answer is no, then it's a no. Don't keep demanding to make the person feel shy and embarrassed, and then they give you what you want. You're not clever when you do that. This is not smart. This is haram. Demanding, taking things from others, money, or whatsoever is haram. وَعِرْضُهُ, the reputation of people. This is haram to speak about people. Body shaming people is haram. To expose their mistakes, to speak about their sins to everyone, talking about each other. This is haram. We have to stop spreading these wrong things about each other. Assuming, sometimes it is assuming, it's not even true. I think she did this because of this. You think is not a reality. Don't, even if you are sure, you're not allowed to go and talk to others, spreading rumors about each other. That's haram. It's haram. We're not allowed to talk about each other. This is all, subhanallah, like it's all haram, wallahi. بِحَسْبِ امْرِئٍ مِّنَ الشَّرِّ أَن يَحْقِرَ أَخَاهُ الْمُسْلِمِ. To speak to someone or about someone in a wrong way, in an evil way, that's haram. That's ihtiqar. To put someone down or speak about them behind their back in a bad way, that's haram. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُبْغِضُ الْفَاحِشَ الْبَذِيءَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates the person who bad mouths, a person who says bad words. Wallahi, these words, we're going to be asked about them. Today we forget what we said. In the day of judgment, we are going to remember everything. Your memory will come back. When you see your book, what the angels wrote for you on your book, you're going to remember every word that you said. When, why, and where, and your intention. Your memory will come back. And you can't give excuses. You can't get defensive in front of Allah. You're gonna say, you can't say, they made me, it's them, it's her. You can't. This tongue will not speak. The hands will speak. Your tongue will speak, but not you willingly. The tongue will speak the truth. Your eyes will speak. Your ears will speak. Your legs, your feet will speak. Where did you go? Everything that we do now, we give ourselves excuses. But in the day of judgment, there will be no excuses. We don't want to regret. You do not want to stand up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say, Ya Rabb, please take me back to my life. I promise you, I will not call people gossiping. I will not speak about other people. I will not backbite. I will not body shame. I will not yell. I will not swear. I will not lie. I will not make fun of others. I will. Why waiting until you stand up in front of Allah to say, I will not? Why don't we start from today? Our goal from today. Control your tongue. Don't speak. Think before you speak. If the words that you're gonna say are going to be hurtful, swallow it. Don't say it. Don't overreact. Don't get angry. Listen to each other. Listen to your son. Listen to your husband. Listen to your children. Listen to your friends. And don't get defensive. Don't get offended. Open your heart and listen to them. If what they are saying is right, sit down and reflect and change it. Be humble. Don't get angry. Don't overreact. Don't say, no, I'm not like this. No, you're. Don't overreact, honey. It's okay. Be humble. Listen to people. If what they are saying is wrong, why are you angry? They're wrong. If you are confident, a confident person will listen. I know what they are saying is wrong. That's enough. I know. No need to be angry. You will say to them, Khair, Jazakillahu khairan. Thank you. I'll keep it in my mind. No need to fight. You know, this is all, it's the behavior, my love. You can memorize all the Quran. You can do Sharia courses every week, twice and three. You can go and have PhD in Sharia. If you have anger issues, you're not going to enter Jannah. You have to know that. It is not about how much we memorize. It's not how much we know. It's not the knowledge that we have. It is implementing it. It is practicing it. It's that we have to control our tongue. We have to relax. We have to focus. I'm going to stand up in front of Allah. I have to prepare the answers. The book is going to be in front of me. The angels who are with me day and night, they're going to be with you in the day of judgment. Your angels will be with you. My angels will be with me. And they will also speak up. They are going to speak up. لا تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said, he's talking to us. You're not going to enter Jannah until you believe. ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. And you're not going to be true believers until you love each other, until you respect each other. ألا أدلكم على شيء إذا فعلتموه تحاببتم. Would you like me to tell you something that if you do it, you will love each other? أفشوا السلام بينكم. Spread peace. Spread peace means stop mocking each other. Spread peace. Stop talking negatively about each other. Stop body shaming each other. Stop telling people what to do. Stop lecturing people. Stop blaming people. Stop putting them down. Stop being angry from people. Stop being always stressed and overwhelmed. It's your emotions. Sit down and relax. Learn to relax. Toxic people, keep away from toxic people. Keep away from toxic people. Don't go talk about them. You keep talking about them. She did, she is, he is, they are. What are you doing? You're making your anger get more and more and more. You want your anger to get less and less and less. Sit down and make dua. Make lots and lots of dua. Recite Quran. Pray. Pray. And sit down in your prayer and make lots and lots of dua in your sujood. You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you peace in your heart? Remember Allah day and night. Keep away from haram. Keep away from haram. If you keep away from haram, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, will take care of you. Because we want to, in the verse that I said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ittaqullah. Oh, you who believe, have taqwa. You want to have taqwa? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, لا يبلغ العبد أن يكون من المتقين. You're not going to be from المتقين. حتى يدع ما لا بأس به حذرا مما به بأس. You want to be from المتقين, you want to have taqwa, keep away from everything that you're not sure it's halal. Okay, I'm going to speak, but I don't know what I'm going to say, halal or not. I'm not sure, I'm not going to say it. You want to eat something, I don't know if it is halal or not. I'll not put it in my mouth. I want to go to a place, I don't know if that's halal or not. I will not go. If you're not sure, keep away from it. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam also said, دع ما يريبك إلى ما لا يريبك. Keep away from something that you doubt. You doubt, is this halal? Is it haram? I'm not sure. I don't know. Keep away from it. I don't know if this word is halal or haram. I'm not going to say it. I don't know. That's taqwa. Taqwa is, I will not do anything until I am sure that it's halal 100%. I will not say a word until I know it's halal 100%. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ali Imran, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Hasten, or hasten, I don't know how it is said, يعني fast, come quickly to forgiveness from your Lord. وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضِ. You want to enter Jannah, the width of your Jannah will be like the 7 skies. This is how big your Jannah is going to be. أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This Jannah is prepared for al-muttaqin. So if I am not from al-muttaqin, I'm not going to enter that Jannah. I need taqwa to enter Jannah. I need taqwa if I want Allah to forgive me. So what is taqwa? To have taqwa, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam says, you have to leave what you suspect. If you're not sure about it, leave it. In another hadith, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Inna al-halal bayyinun. Halal is clear in Quran and Sunnah. Wa inna al-harama bayyinun. And haram is clear. Some things, haram, halal, clear. I know what is it. It's very obvious. وَبَيْنَهُمَا مُشْتَبِهَاتٍ. In between them, there are things that are not clear. I don't know if this is halal or haram. Okay, now I know pork is haram, but this has little bit of pork called emulsifier or animal fat. Okay, this, I know alcohol is haram, but this has little bit of alcohol. So, and then people feel confused. Is this halal or haram? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam says it clearly. فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبُهَاتِ. Who keeps away from anything that they're not sure about. You don't know. Is this halal? Is this haram? I'm confused. This is shubuhat. These are mushtabihat. He said, if you keep away from these things that you're not sure, استبرأ لدينه وعرضه. Then you are on the safe side. Your religion is protected and you are on the straight path. If you keep away from anything that you don't know, I'm not sure. I don't know if this is halal or this is haram. I'm confused. I don't know. It is, keep away from it. To feel good, I don't want to feel confused. I don't want to be lost. So I'm going to keep away everything that I'm not sure if it is halal or haram. I'm not going to speak the words. I don't know if they are halal. I'm going to keep away from the food. I don't know if it is halal or haram. Anything, money, dealing, buying, selling, places, I have to make sure that it is halal. At the end of the hadith, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, keep away from everything that you're not sure about. Keep away from shubuhat. Keep away from mushtabihat. Anything that you're not sure about. ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله. There is a peace in the heart. There is a peace in the body. If it is good, then the whole body is good. If it is corrupted, the whole body is corrupted. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبِ. It's the heart. If this heart is good, I know what I want. I want halal, and it has to be halal 100%. If I don't know, I will ask. When I know it's haram, I'll leave it. I'm not going to even think twice. I'm not going to be weak. Haram, haram, I'll keep away from it because I know what I want. I want to be with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in the day of judgment. When Munkar and Nakir wake me up in my grave. I want to say Allah is my Lord. Quran is my book. Religion, my religion is Islam. Yes, I did not listen to shaitan. I didn't listen to people. I wasn't a materialistic people. I wasn't a superficial person. I wasn't weak in front of money. I wasn't weak in front of dunya or even people. That strength is the good heart. Yes, when your heart is good, subhanallah, your heart will tell you this is not right. You're not going to feel comfortable towards something because your heart will say to you, I don't feel comfortable towards that. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Al-birru husnul khuluq. Al-bir is good manners. You are from the people of the righteousness. The righteousness. You are a righteous person if you have good manners. Wal-ithmu, and the sin, ma haka fi nafsika. What your heart is telling you. Subhanallah. وَكَرِهْتَ أَنْ يَطَّلِعَ عَلَيْهِ النَّاسِ. Your heart is telling you something deep inside, and you don't want to people know what your heart is telling you, because your heart is telling you the truth. Your heart is saying to you, I don't feel comfortable to say this. I don't feel comfortable to go to that place. I don't feel comfortable to wear this. Subhanallah, you can tell people whatever you want. You can say to them, but this sheikh said it's halal. That imam said it's okay. You can tell them whatever you want. Your heart, a good believer has an alive heart. Your heart will say to you, I don't feel comfortable. Your heart will tell you, wallahi. Don't ignore that. It's a sign, because the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam says, Istafti qalbak. Ask your heart. Ask your heart. But if your heart is alive, the believer's heart will say to them, I don't feel comfortable eating this. I don't feel comfortable going to this place. I don't feel comfortable saying this. It's about haram. Your heart will say to you that this is haram. I'm not comfortable. And then he said, البر ما اطمأنت إليه النفس وطمأن إليه القلب. Righteousness is when your heart is completely comfortable about it. You feel ease. You feel like it's right. What I'm doing is right. وَالْإِثْمُ مَا حَاكَ فِي النَّفْسِ وَتَرَدَّدَ فِي الصَّدْرِ. Evil and sin is also in your heart. Your heart will say to you, wallahi, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Your heart will say to you, I don't feel comfortable. Subhanallah. وَإِنْ أَفْتَاكَ النَّاسُ وَأَفْتَوْكَ. Even if people said to you that this is halal, your heart will still tell you the truth, because Allah created us to want halal. Allah created us with the goodness, with righteousness. So your heart will tell you the truth. Subhanallah, some hearts are dead. If you don't feel guilty, if you don't feel bad when you do something haram, that's a sign that the heart is hard, dry, and maybe died. No faith in that heart. The reason is because sometimes there is a layer around the heart. When there is a layer, because of the sins, because of the amount of sins that cause a layer around this heart, that some people, when you talk to them about akhirah, tell them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the day of judgment, Jannah, subhanallah, they don't respond. The heart is not there because of the layer. Light can't go inside that heart. The layer will prevent the heart. So that heart is dead. But if your heart is still alive, if you truly want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your heart will tell you the truth, and it will give you the vibe, I'm not comfortable about this. You better listen to your heart and keep learning, keep asking, keep doing the right things. We have to keep growing, changing, and to become better people. inshallah, from inside and outside. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us taqwa. May Allah lighten our hearts and make it alive, full of Eman, full of taqwa. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us Islam the way He wants, not the way we want. We don't choose, we let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose. Allah chooses what is halal and what is haram. We surrender, we accept, we do it the way it is. And we please Allah only. And we have to be always patient. We choose to be nice and kind. We are not the angry people. We don't hold grudges, but we keep away from toxic people. You have to choose your company. Choose good friends who take you to the straight path, not mocking you when you choose halal. Keep always on the straight path. Subhanallah, it is not easy, but it is not impossible. Your emotions are your job. Fix your emotions, regulate them. Don't throw your anger and your tantrum on others. When you are bored, sit down and remember Allah. When you are angry, sit down and remember Allah. When you are stressed and overwhelmed, sit down and remember Allah. Do a lot of istighfar. Do a lot of tasbih. Do a lot of dua. Don't put your frustration on others. Don't put your anger on others. Open your heart to what people say. Listen to them. Don't be defensive and relax. If they are telling the truth, accept it. If they're not telling the truth, you know it's not the truth. No need to be angry. No need to overreact. We have to learn how to calm down. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us, because we want to do all this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the day of judgment, we do not want to wait. We want to be there for a few minutes. In the day of judgment, we want to have light on our faces. We want to be happy. We want to go to Jannah straight away without judgment. We don't want to go to hellfire, not even 1 second. So we have to be careful with every word that we say. We have to be careful with our behavior. We have to be careful with our thoughts and emotions. We learn to be strong, inshallah, mentally. We have to learn how to regulate our emotions. We have to be wise. We have to be nice. We have to be patient. We choose sabr. We choose to keep learning, keep growing, keep improving until we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خيرا, my beautiful sisters. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.